Welcome, viewers. My name is Isab Jarasuba, and I'll be hosting tonight's podcast.
My name is Quincy Baker.
My name is Mohammed Khan.
Hey guys, I'm Michael Mir.
Thank you for listening to our introduction, and today's topic will consist of different type of relationships and everything that comes with it, the good, the bad, and the otherwise. So the first question I pose today would be, what is a friend to you?
I would say a friend to me is someone that I could go to get advice or to listen to, and then vice versa. Someone I can depend on, like here and there, if like we get each other in trouble, like ask each other questions. Let's say in school, if you don't know something, you would ask me, and I know it, I got you. So it's like someone you can depend on, but you know it's cool. It's also like a friend, but cordial level. Because to me, it's like you have the cordial people, then you have the friend, then you have the brothers, then you have your brothers and sisters, and then it's like people that you hold dear. So I have like a tier list for it. I don't know why, but yeah.
I definitely agree with my brother Michael. I feel like a friend should be there, kind of like a ride or die, but not really in the sense of like a yes man, like when in dire situations or like in any other situations, they should be able to tell you, like, give you criticism on work or basically anything that you need. They'll be fully honest instead of being like a yes man.
I completely agree with y'all. I feel like in order to have a friend, you need to be able to put their trust into that person, but also they could trust you in return. Like constructive criticism, not holding back the truth from you when you need to hear it. And also, if you like need like help or anything that they don't expect, like certain type of like payment in return, like they're there to help you succeed. So I feel a friend is always there for you no matter what.
All right, so in addition to the discussion we just had about friends, I wanted to ask you guys, are social media friends considered real friends to you guys, like in your perspective, based off of like what you guys just said? So like friends who are reliable, friends are people who are reliable, and friends are people who you could trust. Are you able to like build a genuine friendship with people on social media? Are you able to build that bond you would have with another person you would have like in person, you could say?
I definitely think that you are able to make friends on social media. For an example, I run an account on Instagram with about 11 to 12K followers, and I met some pretty cool people that I feel like I really bonded with. It's they may be like halfway across the world, but like they feel like they're right here, right in person. That type of bond, you know.
I can definitely agree because I've had situations where I've like a female friend, like I've talking to, like I really started to trust her, and like it was online. We lived in New York, but it's like not New York, and it was pandemic, so I wasn't going outside. But like I trusted her. I told her everything, especially during quarantine. We're still in quarantine, but it felt like a safe space. So yeah, definitely.
So Michael, with what you just said, I would like to ask you or anyone else, like with that person like being there for you and you telling them your secrets, do you consider yourself a good friend as well? And like, why do you think you are a good friend?
Me, I'm a great friend. My friends can say this. I give advice like nobody's business. Relationship advice, I got that. Friendship advice, I got that. Family advice, I got that. But when it comes to me, I take nobody's advice sometimes. But I can give advice really well. Like, I'm young, but I know a lot. I'm just saying.
I definitely agree with the brother Michael. I feel like I'm a really good friend because I have a lot of advice, either based on personal situations or like from dealing with others. I feel like I give great advice. The only like downside to me is that sometimes I take things not too seriously at first, but once I know this is a serious issue, I immediately go to like serious mode, basically, like making sure everything's on point, no joking around.
Yeah, like I feel like I feel like I'm a good friend, right? So I try to practice what I preach, right? Being able to be trustworthy, being able to be reliable,
Well, I agree with everything you all just said. I'm like, and everybody has their own point of view of like what a friend is and like what values you could bring to like a table as a friend. So like now the next question I would like to ask is, what are some ways to maintain a healthy and genuine friendship based off of like your experiences or based off of like some things you've seen from like other people and stuff? So like, what are some ways or some things you could do to like maintain a friendship?
I would always go by the rule of honesty is the best policy. You know, when something is up or like you're uncomfortable or anything, I feel like you should just tell them straight up instead of like hiding it, because hiding any type of things that you're uncomfortable with them will lead to further complications and problems with each other. So I say to have like a long, steady, stable friendship, you should be able to say what's on your mind at any point that you need to.
Thank you for your response. Michael, Quincy, would you guys like to add any part of the questions?
Yeah, I would like to answer that question you just asked, Muhammad. For me, it's like I have different friends for different situations. Like I have my best friend. I go to him, I tell him my deepest secrets, but it's over time. It's never like, oh, I tell you this. Something has to really be bothering me and has weight on me for me to really go tell somebody what I'm about to, like, what's really hurting me, because that's me. That's me giving a part of my life and my story to you. And that's another part of my time I'm giving to you. So it's like, it's a lot of giving, but I never give. And a lot of people give their stuff to me. So I never have a problem giving it to them. So it's like, it's vice versa.
I feel like also you can still be a good friend by respecting other people's like secrets, right? Because they're not most times they're not going to tell you everything that's part of their life, but it's okay to still be there to say, okay, I understand and I respect your privacy. So I feel like you can learn like major secrets over time, but I don't feel like it's almost a complete necessity because you can still like you still be there for them in any case.
I also think that a friend needs to be someone that's not afraid to criticize you. Because at least I know I do it and some of my friends do it. We criticize each other, but we do the same thing. Practice, as Quincy was saying, practice what you preach. It's like, if you're in the wrong, I'm going to tell you in the wrong. And that's straight facts. And it's however you want to take it. As a friend, I believe we should tell him, yo, it's not cool. Like, I don't know what other people got you, but it's not cool. And that's real. I like to be real with people. So, yeah.
You've heard that like to be a real friend, you need to have a genuine relationship with one another. Should not be afraid to criticize one another, should not be afraid to tell the truth to one another, because that could lead to the downfall of a good friendship or a good genuine friendship. Always have more than one friend for many specific things. Like Michael said, you could trust one person with many things, but being open to many people and listening to many ideas can make you evolve as a person and do better as a human being. So just having friends along you, not one, maybe a small group, will help you in the future. And like, think closely about who is your friend and who isn't. Think closely about who you want to be with in the future. Think closely about who you think will criticize you or like give you another perspective on different opinions and different options on what you think could do better and like prosper on. All right, for our next topic, my fellow brothers, is how healthy relationships but romantic. For the first question I would like to ask is, what is a healthy relationship? But like, what is a healthy romantic relationship? Like in your eyes or like in your experience, like what is a healthy romantic relationship?
I feel like a healthy romantic relationship should be two people building up upon each other's faults. You know, if one person is bad at this and the other person is really good at it, they will build upon it and make both of them kind of like in synchrony, the perfect duo team. It should be someone that is the perfect duo and will help and lift each other up as they rise, you know?
A healthy relationship. For me, that's someone that genuinely cares for me. And I'm not going to say love, because some people care to love different. They have different meaning of love. I'm not going to say love. But just someone that I could connect with. We connect. We're not going to be perfect. we're gonna have our flaws, and as Muhammad was saying, we gotta build on them. We're gonna argue, but it's how we're gonna overcome them arguments and those fights and become better. I think becoming better with each other, other than pointing out each other's flaws, is the best you could happen to girl.
So I'd like to add on to that point, right? Because everyone's gonna have like their perception of love. That's not exactly what really love is, right? So to me, in order to have like a healthy romantic relationship, um, as Michael said, you're not gonna agree on like everything. Like there's most likely gonna be arguments and things like that to work out of, but there's something there, like a type of connection, like a mutual connection that brings you both together. Um, like also like there's a lot of contributing other factors. Like I feel like one person would have different qualities that add to another person's like well-being or something that the other person doesn't have. I feel like in a relationship there's always um like you're both gonna have like opposite qualities that could benefit both of you and makes like a great combination, right?
All right, I agree. And the next question I have, adding on to Michael's and Quincy's responses, like they briefly touched the subject, but like I wanted to ask, like through like based off of like what you know and based off of like what you've seen, do you feel like the word love, like do you feel like throughout time like the word like the value of the word has diminished? So like do you feel like it is not as powerful as it was before, like as powerful as like people make it seem to be?
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, this is my perspective. You know, I've been in a lot of like, what can we call them? Situationships. And they've used the word love, and I'm just like, cool. And you know, I say it back, and it's bad that I do that. I stopped doing this. I say it back because I feel bad. I don't want to be like, oh, I love you. I think there's real meaning to love. I don't like flowing that word so easy. I love you. I love you this. No. Because generally, when we say the meaning of love, what do we mean? Like, what really do we mean? Because me, I don't really know what my meaning of love is yet. I'm still trying to find it. And that's why, you know, I'm single now, unfortunately. But yeah, I think it's all a process. Like, we're young. We have a lot of ways to go. You know, if you find your high school sweetheart, I'm jealous. But it's not really much you can do about it. But yeah.
Yeah, that's the question right there. What is love? What do you think love is for yourself? Because um the word could be used like so many times, but like how you say like the saying like some words like what you say carries no meaning, right? So it's like how exactly it's like I don't know, it's kind of like it's really complicated because um it's the go-to word to describe many things, but it's not really what's going on. It's like it's kind of like the perception of like your situation, um, and the perception of what other people like think is love and haven't found yet. I think um, people use that word to try and symbolize like what they think they feel, but it's probably like not what they feel, right?
I definitely agree with them. I feel like with the word love, people obviously show love differently, whether it's by saying it or by showing it. I feel like depending on what situation you're in, it can go both ways. It can, like Michael said, it can be thrown away and just been said too much, or it can have a deeper meaning behind it, and that's why they're saying it a lot. So I feel like it's just a way of like finding what love means to you and how much you feel like you have to say it to show that you're really affectionate towards that person.
Well, you heard it here today from my fellow MBK brothers, Michael, Quincy, and Muhammad. Here today, you know, we talked about relationships, cheating, healthy relationships, healthy friendships, masculine toxicity, and toxic in general. We've told you many things. We've gave you our insights on many things. We gave you advice on what you can use. We gave you many things that can help you in your day-to-day life, people who you should surround yourself with, people who you should see yourself with in the future, and things just to look out for. My name is Isab Jarasuba. We are MBK NYC, and we lift as we climb. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Hi, my name is Carter Lipping, and I'm part of the MSK team, and I'm here with...
Hi, I'm Stephanie. I'm also a part of MSK, and today we're going to be talking about relationships and friendships. So, Carter, what's your definition of a healthy relationship?
A healthy relationship to me is usually a connection between two people, right? Because relationship doesn't have to be just a romantic one, but as long as there is a good line of trust, communication, understanding of each other, and truly being there for each other, whether it be for their mental health or their physical health or as support. A good relationship would be something where both of you can truly rely on each other if needed, and don't feel a level of toxicity or like that person is a drain or pulling you down. Someone that will be there to be besides you, but also uplift you. What do you think?
I definitely agree with you. I feel like a healthy relationship, of course, it doesn't have to be romantic. It could be a relationship between your parents, a friend, a pet. Like, it's really important that we do have support in our relationships. That way we know that we can rely on each other, like you said. And also, I feel like maintaining it healthy, it definitely will bring a lot of joy to you guys. Not only like in the relationship, but outside. It will make you look at other people differently. It will make you look at life in a more positive way because, you're surrounded by people, you can rely on and people that make you happy.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think the basis of any like good relationship or a group of people that you have a good relationship with really can do a number on your mental health. It really can help you push forward to be the best you can and not really feel like you have to necessarily change for anyone. You truly feel comfortable with being yourself and being there for them without a worry of whether you are being bothersome or you're causing them anxiety or feel like you're walking on ice. And I know in my own experience, that's something that's really exhausting, draining, it really affects your entire life. A lot of people don't realize with the 8 types of wellness, one of them being your relationships, they all affect each other. If you don't have a good relationship with those that are closest to you, that's your support group crumbling around you. Your support group helps you do better at your job, do better at school, do better when it comes to taking care of yourself, being physically healthy, mentally healthy. And so it's really important to have a good relationship with those that you consider your support group, because we're on this earth together, whether we like it or not. Whether you like to have lots of friends or only like 1 or 2, we're on this earth together. And it's great to have people that, you can rely on and that will keep you up there.
Yes, definitely. I really love how you brought up mental health and relationships because it really does play a big part. The way you interact with other people and how you act with other people and how other people act towards you, it definitely can be very stressful depending on if they're behaving negatively towards you. And it definitely will impact how, like I said earlier, like how you just view everybody else. Like if you're in a relationship with someone that is making you feel bothersome or like you're a burden to them, then that's how you're going to feel that you are with other people. And that's why it's important to feel loved and to feel like you matter while you're in those relationships, because we definitely do want to feel positive about every other person in our life. We don't want to like, just because we're in a bad relationship or we're in a bad relationship with someone, we don't want to feel like the next person is also going to treat us a certain way because we were treated that way in the past. And it's all about your mental health. It's how you were treated by those people. It could be a friend or your parents, how they treat you. It will definitely impact your relationships with others. So I really loved how you touched on mental health.
Thank you. I'm going to quickly go into the 8 dimensions of health, of wellness, because my health teacher brought it up. We've had similar discussions about relationships and really what it can do to your mental health. But The way she put it is that the 8 dimensions of wellness is emotional, environmental, intellectual, physical, occupational, spiritual, social, and financial. Now, regardless of what your relationship is with anyone, it really can, in one way or another, affect one of those. And it causes a rippling effect between all of them and really how you manage to deal with it. Because a lot of people don't realize that having a toxic friend or someone that may be a negative pull on you really can change how you deal with things compared to how you normally would have. It's, I don't know if you relate to this, Stephanie, but have you ever like had a friend that really like got to you to a point where you felt like you had to be going crazy and that everything going wrong around you, right? Like you felt like if you stepped out of it, you knew how to fix it, but being there, you couldn't exactly fix it. Do you relate to that?
Can you give me like another example of that
Sure.
situation?
So like let's say with, I think the easiest way to put it is like with school, right? If you're in school and you feel like, you know, let's say you understand English pretty well, like the writing concepts and all of that, but then all of a sudden you just keep getting bad grades, you try to ask students or your teacher for help and nothing's clicking for you. So you start to feel like, you know, you're not as good at English as you thought you were, but you don't exactly understand where in the world you're going wrong. In that kind of aspect, it really can feel like that when you have people that are knocking down those 8 dimensions of wellness for you, especially depending on what kind of relationship you've had with them, whether it be a romantic relationship that's specifically affecting your emotional and social, or a family relationship. And let's say for minors, right, the family relationship could affect your financial, your physical, and your intellectual wellness.
Okay, what I'm understanding is like you're putting in your best effort, and then it's like the person or that you're in that relationship with can like kind of like belittle that or like tear you down, something like that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and in that kind of aspect, like you put in all this effort and you just see it going nowhere, and it seems like the person doesn't recognize the effort, so it's not
Right.
solving anything.
Yeah.
And you get to a point where like, am I even putting in effort? Like, what am I doing? What is this emotional drain, right? Because when you put in effort into something, you're taking a lot of this energy that you have out of you, right? And then it gets to a point where the person's like, well, that's not doing anything. And you're like, so one, why did I spend all this energy? Two, why don't you see the energy I'm spending? Are both of you working to keep that relationship healthy, or is it just you? If it's just you, it's not really a relationship you should value. Even in the case of family, a lot of people, especially I know growing up Hispanic, we know that regardless of what your family does, you're supposed to still consider them as family. But within my years of like being in therapy and understanding my mental health, sometimes you do have to let go of family. You have to let go of these friends that you considered your best friend for years. Because if it becomes one sided, you're releasing all this energy that you could use for something like your job, your education, your future on someone that's not taking it. It's like watering a dead plant, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does make a lot of sense. Yeah, and I now I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like you put in so much effort, and it's like for them you're not getting nowhere, but you know what you're doing. You know that you're doing your best, and it's like, what am I doing wrong? Like I definitely do understand what you're talking about. And another thing I noticed is how you said that can cause the relationship to be one-sided. And then it's like you could find yourself like, especially as teenagers, you could lose yourself so fast in a relationship. And it's just like, wow, like it's really mind-blowing how much effort you could put into a relationship and then lose yourself while you're in that relationship. So I
Yeah.
definitely feel that it has to do a lot with self-love too. Like that's something I had to learn. Like make sure you love yourself when you're in these relationships, because you don't want to lose your identity into someone else. Like I feel like if you love yourself, you won't find yourself putting so much effort into something that you know isn't working. You'll know like, okay, I know I'm doing my best and that's all I can do. Like I'm not going to keep putting my time and energy into this if I know it's not going to get nowhere, because I have to protect my peace. I have to protect myself from being hurt by other people. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely important. I know I was in a toxic, horrible relationship for like 2 years or so. And what really like made it bad is the fact that I didn't recognize that it was really making me no longer myself. And it did have a large part to do with what people don't realize is an anxious attachment, where a lot of people, especially teens, get into relationships and forget to talk to their friends, forget to do their own things on their own. A lot of people fail to realize that you're still your own person. You you and your best friend or you and your partner um should not be with each other 24/7. You should not feel the need to be hip to hip 24/7. Like with any best friend, you should feel comfortable going off for a few hours to do your own thing. Go ahead, have some fun, watch whatever you want. You don't have to be the same person. But it's really hard, especially if people fail to realize that a lot of times our relationships with people around us are a reflection, well, a direct reflection to how our parents treated us as children. And I've learned a lot with the psychological development of children from like the age of 3 to 6. It's usually around that time that that's what you grab onto emotionally. And in the sense of, let's say as a child, if you were crying, right? And let's say your mother were to just baby you every time you cried, right? And that may seem like a good thing at the time, but if she were to continue that kind of thing throughout your life, then a lot of times your female connections, you want a female in your life that's going to be there for you, coddle you, help you through that. And it even reflects on your relationship with like whatever male figure is in your life, whether that be your father or an older brother or an uncle or a male teacher that got to a point where they stayed distant with you. A lot of females would accidentally get themselves in a relationship where they're wondering why they feel crazy, but it's because you chose someone that's going to stay distant with you because of how you grew up. And I feel like the first step to make sure your 8 dimensions of wellness are at its peak, that you're doing great, that you stay out of toxicity, and that you stay out of feeling crazy or like your energy's being wasted, really has to do with yourself, finding your self love, your self esteem, really looking at your past and reviewing that before you jump into something like a long term relationship or a connection like a best friend that you want to have for years. As teens, we're so used to growing up on Disney movies and those Nickelodeon shorts and seeing these false relationships between people, these false friendships, that really we need to take the time to be better for ourselves first before we go into any of that. Take the time to find the enjoyment in being alone, spending time with yourself. But for your mental health, it's good to really spend time with people, talk to people, whether it's texting or like me and my friends have done, do a Zoom call with a few people and put up a movie or a TV show, play some games together. Really whatever gets you through the day, you know? And if needed, find mental health resources if you truly need help, if you truly need someone to talk to. There's always going to be ways to communicate with someone, whether it be a friend or it be a therapist. Whatever is needed. Just do what you got to do to get through the day.
Yes, I definitely agree with what you said. With the advice that you gave the freshmen, I also say the same thing, to take that initiative, because you never know what opportunities could come from you just joining a movie club that your school may have or something like that. So I definitely do recommend that. And don't be afraid also. Turn that camera on, turn your mic on if you have to, because it can also push other people to do it. I know sometimes, like, as just society in general, we tend to do what other people are doing in like a certain social situation. So if like someone is just like, if the whole class is quiet, then you might be quiet too. But if you turn your camera on and you speak your mind, then somebody else could do that too. You could be like I guess like a motivation to someone else to do the same thing. Yeah, so I definitely think you should join any clubs that your school might be doing, any virtual clubs that your school may be doing, because you can find people that like to do what you do, and you guys could do it together. I don't know, like through video chat, whatever. You guys can text about it. It's always nice to have someone in your circle that is into the same thing that you're into, because it can definitely make a really good friendship, definitely.
It's never really too late in the semester or too late in the school year to really start any of these clubs anyway. And since it's virtual, schools are more inclined to let students start these clubs. Just find a teacher that you're comfortable with. Be like, I have this idea. Do you think you'll be willing to, help negotiate things about the club? And just go forward. But that's really, I think, all me and Stephanie have to say today in regards to relationships and friendships, on what our experiences have been and what we think could really be done in regards to this remote learning situation for friendships.
Okay, so I am Dr. Rowe, and I've worked in schools for about 13 years. I love working with teenagers, and in my office, most students came in talking about relationships and friendships. Either they liked somebody and they didn't know how to say it, or it was a breakup and they couldn't be in school and they were just devastated, or they had friends that were shady. So let's just talk about relationships and friendships. What do you guys think about them?
I'll go first. The most important thing in a relationship or a friendship has to be the line of communication, allowing you to truly feel free to open up about any emotions that are going on, anything about yourself, and be capable of addressing any issues between the two of you. Because you can go ahead and share your feelings about just about anything, but if you can't address the person you call a friend or a boyfriend or a significant other about any issues that they cause in the relationship, or any issues you see to been causing yourself but are a reflection of what's going on, if you can't address that, there's no real point of having that relationship last and really finding the importance in that relationship.
Okay. So let's stay right there. So conflicts that come up, guys, like how do you deal with that? Like, do you just come out and say, like, I have a problem with the way that you did this? Or do you kind of just let it go?
I'm gonna go for this.
All right.
I got you, my guy. I'm sorry.
But
for me, I'm a person, and I know it's bad to do. I'm a person that expresses easily. So like, if they do something, I'm just be like, damn. And I let it like try not to bother me, even though it's bothering me, and I don't say anything because I don't want anything to be weird or have backlash. Because one thing I don't like is arguing. I don't like arguing, especially when people get loud. I'm a quiet person. I'm like, if we're talking on a normal level, why are you like getting loud with me? Like, just be transparent.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. For me, it's just a lot of bottled up emotion. So I never really get it out. Yeah, for me.
I guess the way to answer that would, I think it's not always easy to deal with conflicts. And it's always hard to communicate because knowing people for how long you know them, it's almost like anxiety or anxiousness that comes in between you guys. And so personally, for knowing my friends for as long as I know them, I've only just started now learning how to communicate with them with issues, because a lot of people tend to hold things in, especially in high school. When you see something happen, you kind of just like side eye and, move different. So it comes with a lot of experience and a lot of self work.
Stephanie, what do you think?
So I definitely agree with Elliot. That's also something I'm learning with my friendships and any other relationship in my life, to speak up when I know something's bothering me. I feel like that's something a lot of people do struggle with, but I feel like at some point you have to speak up. You should speak up, because then you find yourself like holding that anger in, or that emotion in, that that person caused you. And then you can also notice yourself, like even me, when I tend to hold stuff in, I notice myself acting different with that person.
Mhm.
And it's like, I guess in a way it's kind of like you're holding a grudge, because you're like bottling it in, and like I just feel like it's not peaceful at all. So I definitely do recommend for anyone watching this to speak up when they have to speak up, to express their feelings when they have to. That way they can feel more at peace with themselves and have peace with the other person as well.
So let me ask you this. If you're in a relationship with somebody that you really like and you want to impress them, you want them to like you more than, what they do, but you see something that's shady, like how do you speak up for, how do you speak up for yourself in that type of situation? Because if you want to be with this person and they're kind of sketchy, do you hold it in, or how do you go about saying, what you did, it wasn't right, or I'm not feeling the way that you moved?
I know, like Michael said, I'm sometimes the same way where it's like if something's bothering me, I won't really say anything. I'll just try to move past it. But in that kind of situation, it's not the kind of thing you should be doing. You cannot just move past the shadiness of someone that you truly like, no matter how much you like them. It's even in the same way as recognizing, like, maybe someone you idolize is a bad person. You can't really move past that. And so I know for many, it's a very difficult situation, and it can also be like heartbreaking and heartening to know that someone you liked is a different kind of person than what you perceived. But really speaking about it, or recognizing your own self-worth and what really you need in your life, can truly help you at least find someone better, or find someone that's willing to be that better for you.
Anyone else have anything to add?
I like
Ellie?
to go. So I think I can answer this question only because like I've been in a relationship for 4 years, and
That's a long time.
yeah. So I feel like the only way to speak to somebody, or to speak to your significant other about a situation that's going on, is to just say the first word of like, into talking about the situation, you have to like say what the situation is with communication. And the only way to do it is just by doing it, And it's kind of like with other things that you're scared to do. Like if you're getting on a roller coaster, you kind of just need to get on the roller coaster and go through with it. So like once you say that first word, you just kind of got to keep going and, talking, because that's the only way to move past it, because then everything's going to fall apart if you just say nothing.
Right. So communication is key. And at first it is very it's uncomfortable. You're kind of like, I hope that everything turns out like okay after this, but conflicts are okay. It's okay to be different, it's okay for you guys to like these different things. So speaking of that, I kind of wanted to transition into something that I heard the boys share last night, and that was when you're in a relationship or even in a friendship, you kind of feel like you are this person's everything. So for girls, if they have a best friend who is a guy, is that okay? So if you're dating a guy and if he has a girl best friend, is that all right? For guys, if she has a guy best friend, what are your thoughts on that?
Can I go real
You
quick?
sure can.
No,
No?
because I'm sorry, if I'm your boyfriend,
Mhm.
you don't need a boy best friend. I'm your boy best friend, boyfriend, friend, all in one. You don't need nobody else. I'm here for you, huh? Like, that's it. I'm sorry. You need your mother, your dad, your siblings, your family, and me.
And you.
And me.
Wait,
Yes.
I have a question. I have a question for Michael. Okay, so what if your girlfriend had that boy best friend before you came in her life?
No matter.
So she has to get rid of him?
No, she's not gonna get rid of him. That's deep. I wouldn't get rid of him, but like your role,
is diminished.
Not diminished. That's just less heightened.
So like,
Yeah,
where does he go?
Step back a bit. You were in response. Boy,
My
best friend.
He's in the back. Like he's in the back. Like they could talk here and there. But,
Yeah, I can see that. I was gonna add.
I can't do
it. But okay. So Carter,
Okay.
say what you.
Yeah. Sorry. So like, I completely understand how you feel in that situation, Michael, because like really, like, that best friend could truly make you feel kind of insecure. Like you have someone to leave me for, especially if you're really close to them. No, I'm not saying that's exactly the situation, but it's like a lot of times it can make someone feel insecure.
I get what you're saying though.
Okay, so for men, a boy best friend may be competition. Right? That's how you're making it. I'm just saying. Boy, I do know that within this discussion that me and Stephanie had, it's important that you still keep friends there. Your relationship should not be 24/7, because if that's the only person you are interacting with 24/7, I know from experience, you're going to start to hate them. You're going to start to resent them and then be like, why do I love this person if me spending time with you is annoying, obnoxious, tiring, and draining? You don't want that. So for a healthy relationship, it's good and perfectly fine for someone to have a best friend, but I think what it really comes down to, especially on behalf of females with their boyfriends having a female best friend and men realizing that their girlfriend has a male best friend, it's really about boundaries and communication. Setting up those boundaries for what's okay, what's not considered cheating or over the line in regards to those friends, and communicating about your feelings. Like, hey, your best friend is making me a bit uncomfortable. I don't like the way she's touching you, or I don't like the way he talks to you. And also respecting the place. Like Stephanie had said, if the best friend was there first, there's a reason that they're still in that person's life when you showed up. There's a reason that they find importance and value in communicating to this friend as consistently as they do. So yeah, it may hurt having your significant other spend time with them, and it may feel a type of way, like, oh, like, are you cheating on me with them? Like that, you're gonna have your friends, just like she deserves to have her friends. Like, I know some guys will be like, you can't have a guy best friend, but let me spend 3 or 4 days ignoring your text messages and hang out with the guys. And then when you're hanging out with the guys, in reality, you're hanging out with girls as well. It has to be an equal line of communication and standards for both parties in the relationship for things to truly work out in that kind of situation.
May I please respond to Carter?
You sure can. Oh, you sure can.
I understand what you're saying, right? But like, I've been through it. I try to be fully understanding about the whole having opposite sex best friend, right? Until it backfired. And it wasn't necessarily cheating, but it was like when you have a best friend that's always there for you, it's platonic until it's not. And those feelings start to build up because they like actually pay attention to you, and they're always talking to you, and they always have the right things to say when things are not going right. And then those people will lose the feelings that they had within the relationship and start seeing like, oh, well, he's nice. Like, maybe I like him more, like, So
yeah.
And also like I've had like the best friend platonic thing done to me, but also I had a best friend that was a girl, and she was trying to ruin my relationship. So and like she was doing it secretly behind my back. So it's like, can you have a best friend that's fully platonic? It's like, it's questionable.
I was just gonna say that one of the main things is that you have to know who you are and what you want, because you often hear a lot of people's ideas of what you should do, what you shouldn't do, and who is right and who is wrong, and who is being honest and who is not. But you have to make sure that you spend time thinking about, well, do I feel like this person is being honest with me? You know, so you just want to be careful that you're not clouding your head with what everybody else thinks you should be doing.
So I know we did touch on the word toxic and how it's used nowadays, which is like unhealthy behavior in a relationship. So do you think that once a relationship, in any kind of relationship, a friendship, parents, anything, do you think that once it gets toxic, it can become healthy? What do you
I
think?
believe it can become healthy. It does take a lot of work, because the person has to identify that maybe what they're thinking is not the best thinking. So toxic means that it's unhealthy, it's not pleasant, it's just not good. So the person has to recognize that they're doing something that is not good. And a lot of people have a hard time realizing that, oh, maybe I need to change that. Like maybe I need to get better with communicating, you know, like maybe I need to stop reacting in this way. So you can't change somebody from being toxic. Like that person has to accept that they need to change. So that's where sometimes it's kind of like, you know what, I'm going to give you space until you figure out what's going on with you, because I can't deal with it. You know what I mean? Because it's not good for me. You know, it's not healthy for me. So I definitely think that it can change, but a lot of it changes with therapy. You know, like somebody has to be able to talk to somebody who is not judging them, and to think like, how did you get here? You know, because nobody wakes up toxic. Like nobody was born toxic. Like they've experienced things, and now they have this like wall up that's like, this protects me and this keeps me where I am, and I'm gonna stay here. So it's breaking down that wall, and it takes work.
Yeah.
So as I close, I think that you guys brought up some really great points of we all have to work on ourselves. And the more that we do that, the more that we love ourselves, the more that we see like where we are going, the better relationships we'll have, like whether it's with friends, whether it's with somebody that you're romantically like involved with. But you guys are young. So experience life. And you're going to have stages where you may need to work a little bit more. Then you may want to date a little bit more. Then you want to be in a relationship a little bit more. Like, it's okay to have all of that, but don't feel like you need to be doing something. You know what I mean? Like, don't feel like you need to be in a relationship now, or I don't need to be focused on it at all. It's okay to just experience people the way that they are and just enjoy being with them. Okay? So thank you all for having me, and I hope that I can see you guys soon.
Thank you for joining us.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
A pleasure.